So out of the box or out of the wall, whatever you want to call it, we have, boom, other way, Tron. So this is actually Tron, the original classic, and Tron Legacy in 3D. I was hoping that my 4K versions would get in with steelbooks, but they've been delayed. Won't get here until the 16th, so it's pretty pointless if I want to catch up on the Tron universe before seeing Ares. But I'll do both in one video. We'll do, of course, Tron, the classic first. It's kind of weird that that's on this side. It's like we're reading oppositely. Then Tron Legacy 3D. And you'll know when the 3D's on when I put on the glasses. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing Tron, the original classic. So what's about? Pretty simple premise. Jeff Bridges gets sucked into this universe, which isn't the Tron universe. Tron is actually a programmer's name, and he's got to figure out how to get out and survive with the Frisbee disc games, with motorcycle games, and why is this program trying to get out? So, did I like this film? I think it's a okay film. I understand how a lot of people might find this like a crazy, great 80s classic, but I'm not really calling it classic status. I am very curious, though, when this was made. I'm guessing like 83, but I could be completely wrong. I have no idea. 85 maybe. What is it? TikTok, Chase. Anyway, it really doesn't say. I'll check right after this. But all I'm going to say is the ambition was so high for this movie where you cannot not like say, wow, you're really trying to go there. Because yes, I'll say the first 10, 15 minutes is in the real world, and the last 5 minutes is in the real world, and the rest is in this universe where it is straight up green screen CGI, them trying to do their greatest with LED lighting and trying to show this world. But all I could think of, like, I know this is after Star Wars, right? And people watching Star Wars is like, whoa. I don't know what they felt like going to Tron, because the special effects do look lower, but what they're doing with this is truly make it like in a computer feel. And I'll say it truly does work on that level, especially with him, traveling with that weird, like, U-shape backwards. Is it backwards? Yeah, upside down U-shape thing. That works pretty well in this movie still. Having the bit character that's like, yes, no, yes, no. Fun little things like that do work in this movie. And like I said before, and I'll say it 1,000 times again, I swear to God, Jeff Bridges has something in his clause. If any contract he does, he has to say the word man, radical, or some type of 70s dialogue. Like, that is got to be a clause in his contract. He has to say man. People make fun of Matthew McConaughey for going, all right. You got to make fun of Jeff Bridges having to say man in every fucking movie he does. Sorry, this is a PG movie. I shouldn't have said F word. Slap in the face for you suckers out there. But yeah, as a person who's seen Tron Legacy before, and now I've seen Tron Ares, not seen the original Tron, I do see the appeal of like getting sucked into this universe, especially in the 80s, of just being like, oh, video game culture, because this is straight up video game culture as well, because this is like, after Star Wars, right? And there was really no quote-unquote video game culture before Star Wars, but this truly was like a forefront of people going to the arcade. You had people, having the joystick, putting the quarters in and having fun with it. So this really was sucked into that time of, yes, I think a lot of people really enjoyed it because of what this represented during that time. I think the acting is fine, though. I think the overarching premise is fine of going into this computer and trying to make sure this virus stays a virus, if you want to put it that way. So when I say that, don't expect a true awe-inspiring story. Even, when you think about the Tron universe in general, is it goes more towards the AI. But then you could say AI. I know it sounded weird. But you could also say that this was a pioneer of its time of where the universe was going to go with technology and things like that. So overall, Tron, the classic, I do think is an interesting film. Is it a classic to me? No. I understand for some people that probably saw this in the 80s was probably thinking, oh my God, this is some of the bee's knees of sneeze knees. I have no idea what I'm saying again, but I think the special effects, you can't say they hold up because it is something so experimental at that time, which is just, you got to appreciate the hustle. You appreciate the hustle with the CGI in this one. You appreciate the hustle of what the director and writer was trying to accomplish with this movie. Because it could not have been easy to take it to a board and be like, yo, this is what we want to do. And probably board members are like, what are you trying to sell me? I don't know if I understand it. Because when you think about board members at that time, probably a lot of older men that are like, I've never played a video game before. What's this Pac-Man you're talking about? And I do think I bet you, I'm going to take a guess. Once the producers saw one of the cuts, they're like, what is this? What is this movie? And still, today, I'm like, what is this film? And hey, it's some cult status. That is for sure. So Tron, the original classic, will receive a 3 out of 5 with Futon. It goes at 60%. So the critics and news scores gave this one. Critics say 61% with 158 of them. Audience scores 69% with over 50,000. Critic consensus. While not as dramatically strong as its technologically, Tron is a visually stunning piece of science fiction that represents a landmark work in the history of computer animation. I mean, you cannot not say that because it truly does feel that way, where it was trying something new, and I do think it succeeded. Now, you have that. Where did I put the glasses? And we are moving into Tron Legacy 3D. So what's this about? Jeff Bridges is stuck in the universe, and now he has his son, Sam Flynn, if I'm not mistaken. And he's still part of the board of Encron, if I'm saying that correctly, Encron, yes. But he gets sucked in the universe as well because Jeff Bridges wanted to make a perfect universe. And doing that, trying to tell a computer what is perfect, isn't possible on any freaking levels, through and throughout. Even looking at today's aspect, you have AI either telling kids to kill themselves, or when their program is to shut down, they'll either blackmail people or they'll try to kill the humans. So that's what I'm saying. It's not possible for AI to do something perfect because they will literally go across the Rubicon to do some illegal stuff. But now we have Jeff Bridges older, Jeff Bridges newer. The newer one is the bad AI. And of course, the user is stuck in there. Jeff Bridges, Sam gets stuck in there. And we are in a 3D spectacle. So, I liked it the first time. I do like it the second time of what it's trying to do. So, talk about the 3D. Saw on my 3D TV. I was going to try to see this in IMAX again Wednesday night, but I just didn't have the time. And I was just watching other stuff as well. But on this 3D TV, it still works pretty damn good. The overarching pop-out effects and depth effects really do work, especially when in the games. The motorcycle still holds up. The actual frisbees still hold up as well. So the director of this one is John Kosinski, if I'm saying his name correctly. What do you know him from? Oblivion, Top Gun Maverick, F1. Yeah, Joseph Kosinski. So this is his first time actually, I think, kind of jumping into something that isn't realistic. You know what I mean? Because if you look at his other filmographies, he's really much like in the real world. Oblivion, going to Greenland or Ice or whatever it was. Top Gun Maverick, trying to do everything as possible. F1, it's going to be a little bit harder, but he likes practical stuff. This one, you do feel some of the practical stuff with some of the vehicles and set designs and things like that, but there are, of course, some things that you cannot do. So if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Slap me in the face. I'm always wrong a lot. This is probably one of the fewer first movies that try to do face replacement, de-aging technology, and have it a forefront of the movie. And it shows that this is a 2010 movie. Let's put it that way of like, oof, it's okay, but it's not the greatest. But when you think about this, right, this came out in 2010, and I will always put it here. I always think about what other Disney movie? Pirates of the Caribbean, on how that looks freaking fantastic. While this one looks good with the LED lights and what they're trying to do with the, the technology, the face replacement and de-aging wasn't the greatest. However, that's very different, I have to say, than like, the pirates and the squid monsters and having all the creatures and the tentacles and things like that. Absolutely different. So there is that. The story itself, it's a simplistic story of, AI trying to take over wants to get into the real world and wants to make everything perfect in the real world, which of course that's an impossible task. You have, it's not, I was going to say Olivia Colman. I'm a freaking idiot. What's her name? Why am I dropping a play? Olivia Wilde. Yeah, she's also in this. She plays one of the characters as well, going into this. It's a good movie. I liked the effects. It was a little bit slow on some scenes, especially when you're dealing with, going from place to place to place, being, blackmail. And there's a lot of exposition and explaining in this movie through and throughout of what is the actual plot of this movie, which is a very simplistic one. Boy trying to find his father. So it is a decent entry into the Tron universe, but it doesn't really push it forward. It's a very much a conventional movie where when you watch the first one and you think where the movie could go, this is where like you expect it to go, right? But what really I think hindered for me the most is the story, because it felt like it could have been a little bit more, because the first 10-15 minutes was about, this company becoming a little bit more, not everything's supposed to be quote unquote free. And you have like Cillian Murphy's character, which he's literally in the movie for like 3 minutes. And like his character arc, as well as the new CEO board member, that could have been an interesting arc of what their dynamics were. Because Cillian Murphy, he's a smart cat, and he's doing stuff with this company, but it doesn't go anywhere. You're like, where did that plot go? Unfortunately, it's literally dead in the freaking water. The whole point is, going into this universe and getting the cool aspects of it, which I understand why they want to do that, because people from the original Tron probably want to know, what is the upgrades from the 80s version to the 2010 version? You know what I'm getting at? But I think that part works, but the overarching story is a little bit just not there for me. So overall, Tron Legacy 3D, the 3D is pretty damn good through and throughout. The special effects still hold up, like really do from 2010, like that part does. The de-aging, not so much. The funness is still there, especially with, trying to pay homage to the original. Understood it. After watching, the first one and the second one, I got a little bit more jokes like, that's a big door, and little things like that. So overall, Tron Legacy, I think it's still a solid mid-level movie, just like the original. Does it take it higher or lower? Me, I don't think it does. So Tron Legacy will receive a 3 out of 5 with Futons, which equals that 60%. Let's see the critics' news scores gave this one. Critics, 51% with 250. Audience score, 64% with over 100,000. Critic consensus, Tron Legacy boasts dazzling visuals, but its human characters and stories get lost amidst the state-of-the-art production design. Absolutely. That's kind of what I got from this movie, and there you have it. 60%, 51, 64. Chase out here, the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Well, I'm on this Futontopia. You Blue Futonians. Thank you for watching. A great day. I'm going to watch this today, tomorrow, week, or month, or year. If not, obviously go freaking one of you. Peace and love, peace and love. And are you a fan of the Tron universe? And what does the third one, which I'm about to review, give you? What?